Yeah, I had the same sort of thing where another person doing the same series, and we had a few similar jokes. First episode was all him, and I got a little irritated about it because he released after I did. But then he released his second episode first, and then I realized that we had a few jokes in common that I had already written, and so it just seems like working with similar material, you'll often come to similar things. But really, when it comes to the core issue of joke stealing, I don't really feel that strongly about it anymore because if you're not providing original content, it's your series that suffers, not the original.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the time, joke stealing actually isn't on purpose. Subconscious. Like one of the times I was scripting one of my episodes and I totally stole a joke from Team.io and didn't even realize it till like the fifth time I reread my script. I was like, holy shit, how'd that get there?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else pointed it out. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm getting rid of it. Don't worry.
I don't consider... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I don't consider joke stealing to be really an issue at all. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all sort of taking property from other people, and by definition, what we're doing is just essentially shamelessly ripping off anime shows or cartoons or whatever it is we're doing. And I don't think it's really fair to say, you know, oh, I own that joke because I wrote it. I mean, if people want to use make reference to some of the jokes we've made, or just you know do what might be perceived as a carbon copy of the joke, then I mean, I know I've used references to other shows in my series that people have said, oh, that's a good tribute, and then, you know, if somebody else does it, they're like, hey, you're ripping off his reference, and it's like, well, no, that's not how it works. And if people want to rip off my show, and if that's how you want to look at it, that's, you know, I'm perfectly okay with that. I mean, as long, at the end of the day, you're just doing yourself an injustice by doing that, because you really should try and just write some stuff that will be more indicative of what you can do. And that would be the only problem I have with it, is this, you should to just rely on somebody else's humor the whole time.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
I guess really when it all comes down with it, the only people really who complain about is the fans, and really the person who wins in that joke stealing argument is usually the person who's most popular. So it's like, you know,
very true.
It's like, oh, it doesn't matter whether or not you're right or wrong, but this person has more views, more subscribers, and whatever. And as much as people claim that it's not important, at the end of the day, it kind of is important in those little arguments. Not really that much of an impact everywhere else, but yeah, people are still going to find you inferior just because of that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. If I were to release a joke right now and Team.io accidentally, you know, use the same joke in their next episode, I will be accused of joke stealing. You know, and finding out their jokes. But that was totally correct.
The week that episode 34 came out of my series, which is the episode with the two rare hunters who are the Moonanites, Team 4-Star had actually had conceived an idea for characters to appear in their show at some point who were going to be the Moonanites, like this very same week. It wasn't going to be in an upcoming episode that they were making or anything, but it was going to be down the line somewhere. And apparently they were like, wait, did he know? Did he find out somehow? Even though they'd only just conceived of it. And so they, as far as I know, they're not going to do that anymore, which I think is a shame, because I would have loved to see their version of that joke. Because, so, I mean, I honestly think people shouldn't be afraid to use the same sort of ideas and say, and because it's not a crime at the end of the day. It's just,
right.
We're all just trying to laugh.
Not only, like those kind of jokes, like the Moon and Night thing, is one of those joke stealing ones, which you can really get away with, because it's blatantly obvious that you're making a reference to Aqua Team Hunger Force. It's not like it's an original character like Bandit Keith, where he says "in America," No, it's a character from an Adult Swim show, which
Right.
everyone knows about, basically. At least
Right.
everyone who watches all crappy ass parodies.
None of the Abridged series creators came up with the Moonanites. You're just the first one to use it as a reference.
Exactly.
I know.
This sort of keeps touching on one really core thing, which is just that we're really just a bunch of lowly fan fiction writers with a touch of comedy. We can't really think too much of ourselves writing-wise.
That's lowly spelled Lowly, not Loli.
In my case, it's spelled
Lowly.
but might.
Speaking of Team 4-Star, the next discussion is talking about team-ups, and usually the number of team-ups have usually grown in enormous, gigantic sizes. No sexy pun intended. So anyways, the next discussion is, what is everyone's thoughts about the whole over 5 people per team-up?
This is kind of sensitive to me because I was actually either one of the first or the first person to actually have, as you know, I only script and edit my series. I don't voice act almost at all. I leave that to like a lot of my voice actors, and they tune in with improv and bloopers and so on and so forth. So I really appreciate it because if you're really a quality horror, then you're gonna love it because you have a bunch of different people voicing different characters, and they're tuning in with their own sort of personality. They have different takes, so you might have expected one take, but you go and take another. And it's really experimental, basically, because you can really play around because each person has their own range. So instead of having like a few, like over time developing about a dozen voices, you get like over time a dozen people having a dozen voices, and that's ridiculous, especially for some shows that have a humongous cast list that you really do need a voice actor.
Unless you're awesome with voice acting.
Well, yeah, but very few people can do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Very few people. I don't care what you say. But yeah, if you're a quality horror, then it's wonderful. It's more than possible to do it on your own, of course. It's just that I guess a lot of people are expecting team ups now, because if they see like one or two people doing the series, they're like, yeah, this is not going to be good because of all the previous failed attempters. Like all the 13-year-old kids who are trying to be like Lil Krebo and Moscow and Vegeta and failing epically. So seeing team-ups might encourage viewings.
Well, some of that is correct, but the one thing that it's not part of the discussion, but it's something I did want to talk about. It's the fact that ever since Team 4-Star came out with the whole team inside the title, there's been a lot of people being unoriginal by saying Team this or like Team Supersonic or something like that, and they hadn't been
Super Saru or like
stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, they have the annoying thing which they put the initials in there so they can possibly trick people to think that they're similar to Team 4-Star, like TSS or TFF or something. And it's really annoying because it's a little trick they're trying to pull off, and it's really kind of.
It's hard to get views, though, admittedly.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be relying on little tricks like that.
No. I would agree. It's kind of a lowly thing to do, but.
LOLY. LOL.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of a Lolita thing to do, yes.
It's a Lolita thing to do.
Well, yeah, anyways.
We were called Team Publix before we even started, so someone starting their name with Team has kind of been around a lot longer than that, but we changed our name since, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like Team something something. It's different than just Team something.
Somewhere Team Rocket are stewing in the background going, oh, those guys stealing our gimmick.
Exactly.
Yeah, what the hell they think they're doing?
Oh, God, that was awesome.
was like
That was
Team Magma
I came.
Aqua.
Well, let's
Wow.
move past like the name and like the actual. I mean, what are the ups and downs to actually using a team?
Well, I think it's just a result of the abridged community coming together a lot more, and I'd say it improves the quality. It does make it a little less slipshod, slashed out, whatever word I'm trying to say, hastily thrown together. But and there is some sort of charm to what you do on the fly when you're dealing with humor. But I think it's a good thing overall.
The dog agrees.
Yes. If I could actually script everything without actually voicing it at the same time, I would have a bigger cast.